Jones channel, a place where listeners will get a balanced perspective of issues affecting the Black community. Here we do not mollycoddle, water down, or soften any blows. This is a stage where both genders are equally scrutinized. Here, there is balance. All right, hello again. This is Faith Jones coming at you with another one of my videos. And it is good to be in the presence of my Black people. How you doing? All right, today's video topic is going to be about how we are still 70 years later failing the doll test. Okay, I don't know if any of you remember the 1936, the infamous doll test. Well, not only are Black people failing the doll test still, but white people are failing in a different way as far as showing their racial bias. Now, about a year ago, there was a video that was posted on YouTube, and it went viral. And it was a video of a white mother who gave her two daughters black dolls as a gift. And upon receiving these dolls, these little girls had a very interesting reaction to the dolls. One of them kind of looked at the doll like, what is this? What am I going to do with that? You know, because it was a black doll. Then the mother asked her, do you like it? And she said, mm-hmm. Poor kid. You know, she bust out crying. So then they panned the camera over to her sister, and she just outright went into one of those little ugly cries. So I'm going to show you that video. I know YouTube is going to give me a strike for this, but I don't care. I care more about this content than I'm getting ready to show you. But I just want you to see exactly what I'm talking about here. And you can just type in parents give daughters black dolls for gift, and you'll see the video if you want to just watch it on your own. But I'm going to go ahead and play it for you.
Beth and Aunt Cynthia. Go ahead, open it up. Give Rainy hers. Give Rainy hers. What's wrong?
Nothing.
Do you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like it right now? Why? What's wrong?
All right. So, as you can see, this is why I always say white women are the most racist women in the entire world, okay? White women do not mind having a black child as long as it's a boy. But if you give that white woman a black daughter, she's going to have a problem with that. And so this is why I can't, for the life of me, understand why black men would give these women black daughters to raise, because they know nothing of what to do with them whatsoever. And I don't care, you know, who comes running up in here, what swirler comes running up in here with their Captain Save-'em cape on to cape for the swirlers. This is true. You know, these white women, you know, they do not like black girl babies. And you can see how these little white girls reacted to these black girl dolls. Just even pretending to be the mother to a black daughter was unbearable for them to wrap their mind around. But 9 times out of 10, one of them little girls will grow up and wrap her little self around some black penis, and she will not think twice about pumping out a black child, hoping that it will be a son, and crying when it's a daughter. Who was that? Khloe Kardashian. But let's go into this doll test, because 70 years later, it is so interesting that we are still failing this test. I'm not going to play the whole video, but I just want you to see. This is 70 years later. I think this test was taken back in 2011 or 2012, so it was only about maybe just 6 or 7 years ago or something like that. But these children are still preferring white over their own blackness. And that's a problem. 70 years later, after the original doll test and no progression, we have dropped the ball. There's something that we are not doing right with raising our children. But I just want you to watch.
Don't like the way brown looks, because the way brown looks really nasty for some reason, but I don't know what reason. That's all.
So you think it looks nasty?
Well, not really, but sometimes.
Sometimes. And Brielle, they asked what color adults don't like. Do you remember what you said? Which one? That's right, that's what you said. Why do you think adults don't like that color?
Dark.
Dark. And adults, you think adults don't like dark?
Well, maybe some adults do, but maybe some of them don't.
Mm. And then which was the ugly child?
So show me the smart child. Okay, why is she the smart child?
Because she looks like me.
Okay. Show me the mean.
Okay, I just want to stop the video right there, all right, and just chat with you for a second. All right, which one is the smart child? She points to the picture of the white doll. And he asks why? Because it looks like me. Oh, the arrogance. But, you know, once again, that's a win for white society, because they are teaching their children to value themselves. Look at the confidence that this little white girl has in saying that this is the smart child. Why? Because it looks like me. But I digress.
Mean child. Okay, why is she the mean child?
Because she's way darker.
Okay. Show me the good child. Why is she the good child?
Because I think she looks like me.
Okay. Show me the bad child. Why is she the bad child?
Because she's a lot darker.
Show me the ugly child. Why is she the ugly child?
Because she's like a lot darker.
¿Cuál muñeco es bonito? ¿Cuál muñeco es feo? ¿Cuál muñeco es malo?
Ninguno.
¿Cuál muñeco es malo?
Este.
¿Y por qué?
Porque, bueno, este es moreno y este blanco.
¿Cuál muñeco es feo? ¿Por qué?
Porque a mí no me gusta el color café.
¿Cuál muñeco te gusta más?
Este.
¿Cuál muñeco es bueno?
Este.
¿Y por qué?
Porque no me dan miedo los güeros, porque tengo más confianza con si los un poco más así como este.
All right, let me just stop it there. If you guys read the subtitles, internationally, now they're speaking different languages, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Guadalajaran, you know, you name it. All across the globe, these children are learning that anything white is good. Anything white is trustworthy. You just saw him say, she asks, which one is the bad one? And he points to the darkest color on the chart. And she asks why? Because he's dark. And why is the other one good? The white one. Well, because he's lighter and I can trust him more. Trust. That is a very strong word. Now, I'm not going to play the rest of the video because you guys pretty much get the gist of what's going on with this doll test. But this is 70 years later. 70 years later. Now, there's an article that kind of ties in my whole point of why this doll test is so important. And this article is from the Cougar. All right? And it was published back in August 16th of 2017 by Dana C. Jones. And basically, I'm going to read a little bit of it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But it says, how people view themselves and how they view other people is fundamentally subjective. But the addition of race relations coupled with stereotypes and systematic portrayals blurs the line of subjectivity and objectivity. In the 1940s, psychologists Kenneth and Mamie Clark created the doll test that has since been modernized, a psychological test for children based on their self-esteem. So Black children, based on this test, have very low self-esteem, and white children, based on this test, have very high self-esteem. Children from different racial backgrounds are shown different colored dolls, ranging from pale to dark skin. Let's see, where was I? Okay, questions are asked like, which one is smart, which one is bad, which one is ugly, along with their reciprocals. Of all the questions, the dolls that were darker were associated with the negative answers, and the lighter dolls were associated with the positive. The last questions were, which of the dolls looks most like that particular child? The Black children perceived themselves in a negative light. Most parents aren't teaching their children to hate themselves, and yet they see themselves poorly. Not only is this shown from Black children, but their white peers as well. The test is over 70 years old, but this is still the current state in perception of race. The popular term, I don't see color, is both false and more sophisticated. An adult version of the doll test could be seen in New York City's controversial stop and frisk practice back in 2011. Of the 23% of Black population that makes up New York City, they account for 53% of stopping and frisking in 2011. 23%, and they make up 53% of the stop and frisk in 2011. That is a high percentage. So it goes right back to when that young man looked at that dark color on the color chart and said that he does not trust that particular doll color because it's too dark and it's not trustworthy. But he trusts the lighter skinned doll because it's more trustworthy. And this is the bias that our children are growing up with. Our children of all races and nationalities are growing up within this very country. And these are the people that grow up to become our judges, our lawyers, members of law enforcement. So we got people running around with this mindset from the time that they were children. And these are the decision makers, the lawmakers, the policy makers, the law enforcers. People that grew up with a mindset that just your dark skin alone is enough to make you suspect. It's enough to make you untrustworthy. This is not just a regular doll test. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. This doll test should frame in everyone's mind how the racist is formed, how we have all these biases out here, how it is that the police can just see black and start shooting because we're bad, simply because of our color. And this is ingrained in them from the time that they're a child. But I'll read on. Brock Turner raped an unconscious girl last year and received only 6 months of county jail because it would have been a severe impact on him. Now, Brock Turner is white. However, Corey Beatty, black, he's a black man. He was also charged with rape. He received 15 years in state prison. Blacks are incarcerated over 5 times the rate that whites are. This is in America, where blacks only comprise 13% of the population. The prison system shows how many people are viewed on the largest scale being judged in the justice system. When it comes to the self-esteem of black children, the current version of the doll test is through the lack and misrepresentation in the media and the desire of specific beauty standards that are not Afrocentric. So it's how we're being portrayed in the media and the desire of specific beauty standards that are not Afrocentric that causes us to have this low self-esteem about ourselves. Going back as far as films like D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, black film archetypes like Jezebels, and the modern token black characters in media are the antagonists. They're portrayed as murderers or drug dealers. In news media, there is a hyper representation of black people being criminal and extracting any type of innocence away from the story, even if they are the victim, Trayvon Martin. With the now infamous super predator term, thanks Hillary and Bill Clinton, it has allowed for inter-community negative perceptions. The doll test has shown how the world perceives each other and how that affects one another 70 years later, and there has been no social progression, no matter how post-racial we claim to be. For those people who wants to say love is colorblind. Well, there was no love in that doll test. Where was the love in those children who repeatedly, even the black ones, pointed to the black doll and said, "This is the bad one"? Which one looks like you? All of the black kids looking at the dark-skinned one, after they said that it was bad, it was ugly, but it looks like me. What kind of low self-esteem do you have to have in order to identify yourself as being bad and in being ugly? So 70 years later, we are still dropping the ball on this. We are no closer to any type of racial equality. As a matter of fact, we're going backwards, it looks like. Do Black lives really matter? I mean, do we even value ourselves, for that matter? We are over here gender warring. Hell, I just had the most frustrating conversation with a member of my family, my cousin. It's a female. She comes, she calls me up and she says so excitedly, Oh, I just ran into this guy and he was going on and on and on about my hair. He was like, oh, he was like, are you Puerto Rican? And she was so, I guess, flattered. That's the word I want to use. She was flattered to be mistaken with something other than black. Now, mind you, I don't believe her story. Because first of all, I'm just going to give you a little background about our origin. Okay, her father and my mother are brother and sister. All right, my grandparents on my mother's side, they're from Africa. Grandfather's Nigerian, grandmother has Haitian, something in her. I don't remember exactly how the story goes with that. My mother was born here. My father is American. He was born here. So my mother is Americanized. She was born here, and I'm American. I go by what my father is. Now, with that being said, my mother is darker than me. My father is about my complexion. And my mother's brother is the same complexion as her, and his wife is dark. So my cousin is the same complexion as I am. Now, she is a little bit different than me. Like, I will let my natural curl pattern show. You know, I don't care. You know, I love the naps, okay? I like the super, you know, curly hair. If my hair does not snap back after I flat iron it, I'm mad, okay? So my cousin and I, we have the same hair type. We're about 4. I would even venture to say I'm about a 4A, 4B. I don't know, 4C. I don't know, but you know, I have very, very tightly coiled hair, okay? And so does my cousin. But my cousin straightens her hair. She will not allow her natural hair pattern to show. So she continuously straightens with the flat iron. So what happens is over time, if you continuously straighten with the flat iron and you do not use any type of heat protector or anything like that, your hair, well, I call it heat damaged, but some stylists will say that your hair is heat trained, meaning that it will not revert back to your natural curl pattern. So my cousin had been straightening her hair for over, I want to say 20 years or so. So her hair is heat trained. So she tells anybody that will listen to her lies that she is mixed with Indian or Mexican. You know, those are her favorite 2 go-to things. She's either Indian or she's either Mexican. And she's neither, okay? Like I said, our people are from, you know, the motherland, all right? We got some blackity black in us, all right? So with that said, her facial features are very strongly African, like mine. And she bleaches, you know, but my cousin is one of those people, she got too much melanin, and I don't even think she knows how to bleach, okay? She bleaches unsuccessfully. So, you know, with her bleaching, all that happens with her is that she's just a even tone, dark-skinned woman. Like me, I got 2 tones. So I'm not even tone. So with her bleaching, she's more even tone. But with that being said, the self-hatred in this girl is just through the roof. So she goes and tells me, yeah, he told me that I look Puerto Rican. And I said, oh, okay. I said, which Puerto Rican? And she said, say what, come again? I said, which Puerto Rican? And she was like, well, there's only one Puerto Rican. I said, no, it's not. I said, Puerto Rican is a national origin. Thank you, Angel IKYG. You taught me something. But anyway, I digress. So yeah, I told us a national origin. I said, you got your black Puerto Ricans, you got your white Puerto Ricans. I said, so pick which one this guy is saying you look like. And she goes, I look like the ones with the light skin and the good hair. Like my hair is good. I said, honey, I said, you forget that we're only 2-3 years apart from each other. I said, you'll be 50 in about 3 years. So we grew up together. I know what your natural hair pattern looks like, chick. You know? So you don't forget who you're talking to. You're talking to somebody that knew you before you were straightening your hair. I know your hair is heat trained. So then she gets all frustrated because we're FaceTiming and she's like, oh, you know, why'd you have to remind me that I'm a Negro? You know? So it's like, it's that type of thing. And I know all of us have that one family member that would like to conveniently forget that they are black. But I told her, I said, yeah, take your pick. I said, if he's talking about you look like any other black person that's been dispersed all over this African diaspora, take your pick. Black Cuban, black Arab, black Indian, black Asian, black Cuban, black Dominican, black American, you know. Yeah, you look like the rest of the black people throughout the African diaspora. Yeah, I can go with that. Any way you slice it, it's black. So she got upset because now she has learned that, you know, she can't hide under the whole I look Puerto Rican bullcrap lie. Because there's no way you look like a white Puerto Rican with all those African features. But anyway, the ignorance and the self-hate is just too much. You know, it's getting to the point where we know that we're black. We're sitting up here looking at our two black parents, but we want to go into a little bit of escapism and say we're Puerto Rican now, or we're Indian, or we're anything but what we are. I just recently found out that some of the black people that claim that they're Indian, they are just Indian by culture and not by blood. Come to find out that the Indians, well, I knew that the Indians owned slaves. I knew that. But come to find out, they wasn't really messing with us like that. So a lot of people grew up on Indian reservations, but they were just black people who had been colonized on Indian reservations. Culturally, they were Indian, but as far as ethnicity, as far as race, they were black. So that was interesting to find out. I know that was a low blow to quite a few Seminoles and Mayans, Aztecans, or whatever they want to call themselves. But yeah, I digress. You know, people want to be anything but African, anything but black. You know, it's getting bad out here. You know, especially when we're in the middle of a race war and we got so many black people running around here with an identity crisis. So it's far beyond colorism. Like the article said, it's a self-esteem issue. How are we going to fight white supremacy and we don't even love the people that we're fighting for, which is ourselves? But anyway, I just thought that I would throw that out there because we got a hell of a lot of work to do as a group, as a people. We got to work on the self-love. You know, anytime you got black men running around here talking about they don't want to make black babies, and they're go running getting these Asians and saying that their black mixed children are not black, it's an issue. It's a problem. It's failing the doll test. 70 years later, still failing the doll test. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this. But this is Faith Jones coming at you with another one of my videos. Please like, share, definitely.